All right, Dynamite. Let's make this very clear. I've seen Monday, and I've seen Tuesday. I done my review of Tuesday of Revenge, and it was a good show. More than a few people have now left, and so Ruka's gone. Ethan Page is gone. We are going to see more and more people. Ubafemi is now officially a part of it. You're going to see 100% the people that have gone from NXT now to the main roster. The big question. Are they going to book them? Because the question's going to be, you only got Roman Reigns in the bloodline, and you only have maybe one woman that they care about. What about everyone else? As far as I can tell, they have not been booked very well. As much as people say they've been booked good, they haven't. They don't have as much relevance as, as the bloodline. And the big question is going to be, can they book for them? Because as it stands right now, because of corporate, it is hard to believe that Raw and SmackDown are going to get any better than they were before now that WrestleMania is done. The big question is going to be, what are we going to get in the meantime for the next bit of the year? Because usually they don't really do anything great after WrestleMania. The wrestling goes like this. Then you see Dynamite. We know that the booking has changed a little bit. We know that there's an uptick in the ratings. People are watching. Even when it comes to the arenas, a little bit better in the arenas. The question is, what are we going to get now that Darby is champ? I think I got the title, and it's basically fight until he breaks. That's what I feel like we got right now. I'm going to say this before I get into this entire show. I didn't find the show bad. I think some people may find it boring. Other people will say it was spectacular. I'm going to say this objectively. We got some good vid packs compared to what WWE usually does. Definitely. Other than NXT. Because we got a couple of vid packs in NXT. But Raw and SmackDown's vid packs have not been good. And the pay-per-view had almost none. But here, we got some good vid packs. We got the feel of certain people meaning something. But we still don't have enough for everybody. Now you're going to say, well, dude, you can't make everyone the top dog. I'm not asking for the top dog. If you looked at my gut report, this is about making people relevant across all parts of the card. They can be just as relevant to the middle of the card as to the lower part of the card and the main event. It's not how great the titles are. It's just they got to be well developed. The question here is, are we getting this? Let's open with Lio Rush versus Brody King. The Black Heart, I believe he's calling himself now, Lio Rush. I'm telling you this. I've never been a big Lio Rush fan. I just never have been. It's not that I didn't like his work in the ring. I've just never been a big fan of him. Now, as he's acting so out of sorts, I'm interested now. He makes me think of a more extreme of Mankind. Not that he is like Mankind. He's not even close to Mankind. He isn't. Particularly that gallop he does in the ring. And I don't know if I got a shot of it. It's in my face. That gallop really makes him completely different compared to Mankind and his... And he does the mandible claw and just jump off anything. It's very different than what AEW usually does. The only thing they had that came close to it was, what was her name? Avalon. There you go. I haven't thought of her in years. And this is the male equivalent of Avalon, who makes me think of Mick Foley in the sense of being absolutely out of his mind. He lost again. He had a match against Pac, and now he went up against Brody King, who kicked his ass, even though he had to struggle. So he's interesting to see what he is, and what they're going to do with him. But they better do something with him. he's going to have to be winning sooner or later. Because if he just keeps losing, that's going to look bad. Because that's a very unique character that he's developing. Brody King, I know he did his promo. I'm not going to talk about it until the end of this review when he went up against Darby. Let's move on. Next match, Mina Shirakawa versus Ahira Kushida. And this is stemming from what I think happened on Collision, where she got hit by a kendo stick at one point, I think, or because I don't watch Collision, or it could be because we still don't know who took out Toni Storm, and Mia Shirakawa was looking for anyone and everyone. And she's saying, at least about Hiro Kushida, you can't trust her. I don't know which one it is. It's either she got hit by the kendo stick, or she believes that Toni Storm was attacked by her. It's hard to tell. I'm going to say this. You look at Mina Shirakawa. She looks fine. She's all right. Yeah, of course. She got the boobs. She's sexy. Let's make it clear. But when it comes to Hiro Kushida, she looks off. Now, I'm not saying she can't wrestle, because she can. But she's kind of reminding me of what happened with Thunder Rosa with her back. When she came back the first time after having back surgery. And she was really sluggish in the ring. Now, I don't know about you guys. Mina Shirakawa just looked like she looked fine. But Hiro Kushida looked like she was slow. Way slower than she normally is. And she almost looked at the point she was getting tanked. Now, you guys tell me below, has Mina Shirakawa, has this feud been going on for a while, and this happens all the time with her? Because when it comes to Hiro Kushida, I haven't seen her for a while. She looks like she might be coming back from injury. I'm not saying she was. And she looks sluggish in the ring. And even to the point of almost looking tanked. You guys tell me below. I don't know. Mina lost the match due to the fact that she was so untrusting of Hiro Kushida, because she looked like she was going to grab a kendo stick that was in the corner. She grabbed it ahead of time. Chris Statlander's her partner. They won a couple of matches now. They're working together. And Mina was trying to tell Chris, don't trust her. She was about to hit her. Chris took the kendo stick. And Mina got her ass kicked by Hiro. Now it's a big question how far they're going to go with this story. But then I'm thinking, how the mighty have fallen. That Chris was champ. Then she stopped being champ and she was working with Tekla. I mean, before that she was working with Tekla. After that she lost to Tekla. Then she went down further when she was working with Thunder Rosa. And now she is working with Hiro Kushida. Someone that, yeah, maybe an original to AEW, but hasn't been seen much on Dynamite. She's probably spending almost all her time in Collision. And if that ring, that match in the ring was what it was, she's now sluggish in the ring. Maybe because she's coming back from injury? I don't know. I'm not saying it was her knee. She just looks sluggish. You guys tell me below. Next match. Will Ospreay versus the Dugzilla of Mark Davis. This is where it gets interesting. They're trying to do exactly what they did with Kenny Omega talking about his diverticulitis. I believe that's how it's pronounced. But they're making it for a Will that his neck is the issue with the double fusion. They're doing exactly the same thing. Here's where it gets interesting for me. It's obvious they're doing the same thing. It's clear they're doing the same thing. And not everyone is going to be interested in that. But the question is, where are they going to go with him constantly keep losing? Because sooner or later, they got to do something with him. And take the emphasis off his neck. Yes, he's only been back for a short time. So the neck will be the issue here. And he reached a point where his arm was like this. Davis destroyed him. And they had to stop the match. And Davis won. But then, just before Davis was about to destroy him again, with his arm just dangling there, Moxley comes out with the Death Riders. Here's the thing. I'm not interested in the Death Riders. I'm not interested in Moxley. Moxley should have already left a while ago. The Death Riders should have already been disbanded or have a new leader a while ago. Yes, they had to do the story between Mox and Will because he went out because of Will. Will got taken out because of Mox. Yes, I understand that. But now here's the thing. They decided to kidnap him. The Death Riders took him and took him away. And Windsor said nothing. And I thought that she would have some concern. But they're not. She's dealing with Persephone against the Sisters of Sin. But I don't know how far this is going to go. Because this is the big question. How far are they going to push this story between Moxley and Will Ospreay, where, if I'm right, Moxley's going to help Will. Not just tie him up in a corner and just smack him around. He's going to help him because that's what it looks like. And that makes no sense whatsoever. Because if you look at this entire situation with the Death Riders, once the Continental Classic was done and the Continental Championship was Moxley, he became a face. And the Death Riders stayed heels. But then when Moxley is needing them to turn face, to at least for a moment, they turn face. They've been flipping back and forth, and it makes no sense. So now they take Will Ospreay, who has an issue with his neck. And now what are they going to do? They're going to train him to compensate for the problem in his neck? Is that what the story is going to be? They're going to make Will Ospreay stronger. They're going to give him the opportunity to become stronger and then join the Death Riders? I don't know if that'll work. But it is, and I'm saying this clearly, it is different. This is different. But I don't know if it'll work. Next, Samoa Joe comes back and he goes up against Chun. I think the guy's name was Chun. It was his first match back after the injury he had during training. He looked alright. And he destroyed him. But here's the thing. You're going to have a big question of where the story is between Hook and him. Because Hook met him up the ramp after he did the muscle buster to Chun. And he walks with him. But how long will it be before we see that Samoa Joe is going to be ousted by Hook? Or is Hook going to get ousted by Samoa Joe? My guess is it's going to be Samoa Joe's going to be ousted by Hook as the leader of the Ops. And at this point, where I do believe Bowen wants to join the Ops, what is the full scope of what we're going to get? You guys tell me below. Now, let's just talk about everything that happened in the back. Let's talk about Cope. No, actually, wait. Let's talk about the vid packs, because we got 2 vid packs. We got a very decent vid pack for Okada because they're trying to build up what's going on with him and Kateska for that match next week, I believe. I think it's next week. And then we have a vid pack for Darby Allin, which, I Gotta Be Me, that kind of song. I think that was sung by, not Frank Sinatra, but, who was it? Sam, I forgot his name. It's been so long. I thought about, I forgot his name. He's blanking. If I can remember, I'll put it in my face. But I don't know if that was the right song to put in that vid pack. I don't know. I just don't. But it was interesting to see that they did do a vid pack for both of them because they don't always do great vid packs. They don't. So, let's move on to Cope. And let me give it to you like this. Cope wants a second shot at those titles. No Christian, just Cope. He said, you guys say you're the best? Debatable. Are you the best in this generation? Yeah. But if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Let's give it to you like this. Give us one more shot. If you beat us, we retire as a team. That is interesting. Is that retiring as a team and they're not wrestling anymore? or are they just going to retire and not be teaming anymore? My guess is they're going to retire. I don't think they're going to go there, but will they? Would this be the last year for Copeland and Christian, and they're going to retire as a tag team? I don't believe they're just leaving. I do believe they'll win it, but how are they going to book this? How is FTR and Stroke going to do this? I don't know. This is going to be a little interesting to see how are they going to talk about this, because they're not giving them another shot. So it's got to be something that's going to make them sound interesting. That's just me, guys, down below. Let's talk about the Man and Chris Jericho. They got a match. I think it's on Collision, I believe, or next week. And they know that Chris Jericho's burned bridges on everybody. Look at the learning tree. Neither one of them are working together. So we needed two people to work with him. The Syndicate is back. The Syndicate is back. Bobby's back. Shelton is back. MVP is back. And now they're being paid. Now that makes sense with the Hurt Syndicate. They go for money. But the question here is this. I'm hoping they're not going to go back as a tag team. It's time for each of them to win championships. Because the person I think that should be winning a championship before either MVP or Bobby is Shelton Benjamin. I think at this point, out of any one of the three, he deserves to be an actual champion. He does. And I'm like, I know not everyone's going to agree with this. And I'm thinking about how are people going to perceive the Hurt Syndicate after they do the job with Chris Jericho, because it's not going to last long. But my guess, they're going to have them as a tag team at first, or they're going to have them doing it separately and then become a tag team, and then hopefully they'll go off and try and get championship. I would not mind Bobby being TNT champion, and I definitely wouldn't mind Shelton being world champion. I know not everyone's going to agree with that, but I do believe that's the right thing to do. Finally, let's talk about the final match. Darby Allin versus a Ciampa. Now, opening of the show, you got Darby coming out. No, not Darby, but MJF. Sorry, I got that a little mixed up. I think the reason that I'm getting it mixed up here when it came to him and Kevin Knight is that, would they really go there? That they just gave Kevin Knight the TNT title. And they have MJF open, angry as hell, saying that Darby cheated when he cheats. And he wants his title to be handed over to him. Kevin comes out for no reason and says, you know you cry like a bitch. And now I look good with my bling. And pretty much now, because of it, we're now offering MJF the opportunity to be TNT title holder, which he has never really been. He's been international champion, he's been world champion, he's been tag champion, but he's never been TNT champion. Now, of course, that wouldn't be a problem, but it kind of throws Kevin Knight under the bus if they actually go there. I don't feel really good about that. If you're trying to build stars in AEW, you should not strip them down so quickly. Now, I'm not saying that MJF will win. He could lose easily. Well, not easily. They're going to make a good match of it. Because Kevin's a good wrestler. Of course, MJF's a good wrestler. I don't expect him to just job so easily. But if they did, that would suck. But before Ciampa and Darby Allin went in the ring, Darby came out, hugged Tony Schiavone, and he said, I know this is short. I'm only going to have 15 minutes of fame with this. But before I end it, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I thank everyone. I thank the people who were at Mount Everest. I thank the people who watched out for me. I thank my fiancée. Man's got a girl. Hey, even the nuts got girls. And look at me, I don't have a girl. But he talked about it. And then MJF came out saying, give me my damn title. He says no. Give me my rematch now. He says no. you're not getting anything until you wanted to put something up for grabs, which doesn't make any sense. Why would he put anything up for grabs when he's owed a rematch? Why would he be putting things up for grabs if he's owed a rematch? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. If he'd already done the second match, then it would make some sense. But him saying it, it's like they're saying, we know that we need to do some type of stipulation with a MJF. He's got to give something because he's been getting anything he wants. But then it's kind of like doing it early because it would have been better if he had the second match, lost that damn match, demanded another match because he tried to cheat and Darby did the same thing again, got away with it. That would have made more sense. But then when Ciampa came down the ring, he gets in Ciampa's face. He's going like, you better watch out because I'm getting my damn title. Ciampa kisses him in the face. And then we get the match that I felt was the best match of the night. It was. Taking nothing away from Leo Rush and Brody King, but this, and it was a good match, but this was the best match of the night. Simply. Was it hard-hitting? Yes. Was it extreme? Yes. That works with both of them because they worked in OH. Seeing the Psycho, what was it called again? The Psycho Slam or something? I don't remember the name of it. But going outside of the ring, on the second turn rope, does a white noise looking type of move onto the ground, acts like he knocked his hip out of alignment, which was Ciampa saying, "Oh my fucking God." And then we get this. Was it overacted? A little bit. But it proves that the one who's going to ride or die, the one who's going to fight until he breaks, can deal with anyone. And after that was over, you get Brody King coming in the ring and pretty much says, Darby, what I said before, I mean it. I was proud of you because that's what he said after his match. I'm proud of you. But I went to Tony Khan already. And he said he's willing to give me the match next week with you if you agree. And he shakes his hand. And then he basically collapses into the first turnbuckle. Exhausted. I'll say this. Was this a good show? Wasn't bad. It did give us some stuff that we needed, like a vid pack for Okada, a little bit of Sammy Davis Jr. Now I remember his name. I was beating my head as I was talking. I was thinking Sammy something, Sammy something, Sammy something. It was Sammy Davis Jr. I hate when things come to me right when I'm about to finish something. That sucks. But at least I remember it, not when I'm doing the editing. So, is this good booking? It's better than Raw. I will say that. It definitely is going to probably be better than SmackDown. And it'll probably be better, excuse me, than what we get at the pay-per-views or PLEs. Because as it stands for me personally, I'm still going to be doing NXT reviews. I'm not going to review Raw, and I'm definitely not going to review SmackDown unless something special happens. Whatever is there. It's been rare. But I'm being honest here. As it stands for wrestling right now, pro wrestling, I'm telling you this. I don't see it very good for a while because the corporate attitude of Silver Lake WWE is very apparent and it's going to get worse. There is no way it won't. Triple H is not going to be there for much longer. I know JD talked about it. I knew this 2 years ago. I didn't expect him to stay very long. I expect him to be removed by somebody. Either Tony, or not Tony Khan, Nick Khan, or Ari Emanuel, or The Rock himself may remove Triple H, and they'll place somebody else there. So you will not be having what you got for much longer. Something is going to give. And corporate's going to make things worse. So we're not going to have that many companies that's going to be interesting. AEW is the alternative, but can it book better than it's been lately in the last 2 years? This looks like somewhat of a good start, but if they're not consistent with it, that's going to be the problem. But this is just me. Peace.